How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and today I'm going to be running through a list of the worst locations to build a base in Don't Starve Together. Before we begin, caveat emptor, as per usual, this video is my opinion based on personal experience with the game, and while it's created with Don't Starve Together in mind, many of the concepts I cover here can also be applied to the single-player version of Don't Starve as well. So let's get started. Number 6. Beefalo. Upon hearing this, you are likely thinking one of two things. Either, duh, everyone knows you don't base near Beefalo, or, but Beefalo are such a great way to deal with hounds. Here's the thing. While Beefalo seem innocent enough in the autumn, when you are most likely to be choosing a location for your base, by the time winter rolls around, there is a chance for the Beefalo to become hostile while in heat, and it's guaranteed in the spring, which is officially considered mating season for them. While Beefalo are in heat, they are aggressive towards just about everything, including the player. This means that unless you are willing to abandon your base during such times of the year or wear the Beefalo hat, you'll end up needing to kill off that entire herd of Beefalo you based near just to make your base usable again. I think this makes a pretty good case against basing near Beefalo, even if you still want to use them as protection against hound waves, which also isn't advised. Number 5. Dragonfly. This one specifically applies to Don't Starve Together, where there is a dragonfly set piece in one of the two deserts. While at first it might seem like a cool idea to settle your base near the magma pools for heat in the winter, it'll likely cause more problems than it solves. Firstly, Dragonfly can have a funny aggro radius, which could lead her to enter your base at times and try to attack you. There is also the potential for tumbleweeds to roll past a magma pool and catch fire, and then roll into your base and spread that fire to your base. It's also going to be annoying to be anywhere near the magma pools in the summer when you are already coping with the naturally excessive heat from the season. While few players would ever consider this a possible basing location to begin with, it's pretty clear the disadvantages outweigh any possible advantages. Number 4. Green and purple ponds. There are 3 types of ponds in Don't Starve Together. The lake in the oasis isn't considered a pond, and out of those 3 pond types, 2 of them spawn mobs that are hostile to the player. Green ponds spawn frogs, and purple ponds spawn mosquitoes. Since ponds are permanent world features, you can't remove them if you get annoyed with their spawns over time, which means you'll need to seek alternative methods of controlling the frogs and mosquitoes they spawn. Frogs can be walled or fenced in, which is fairly effective, although if you walk too close to the wall, they can still attack you. Mosquitoes are a bit trickier to deal with because they fly, so much like bees or basilisks, you'll either need to station friendly mobs like bunnymen near the purple pond during the evening and night, or try to exploit their pathfinding using fences to direct them away from your base. Any way you cut it, having ponds this close to your base isn't worth the effort just for easy access to fish 3 out of the 4 seasons of the year. Number 3. Walrus Camp. If you come across the igloo footprint during the autumn, keep your base well away from it. In the winter, the Walrus Camp becomes inhabited by the MacTusk and Son Scottish nobleman walrus hunting party, which includes MacTusk himself, one of the only ranged enemies in the game, and his 2 ice hounds. Since, much like the ponds, you cannot remove the Walrus Camp from the world, it means you'll have to deal with him each time he respawns during the winter, which is at least once every 3 days, making him a complete pain to have around even for more experienced players. Number 2. Meteors. Meteors are devilishly obscure and only appear in Don't Starve Together near Rocky Land and Mosaic biomes based on my observations. The main problem is that they destroy structures in your base when the meteor hits the earth if you build too close to the areas where they spawn. Meteors have also been known to increase in area coverage as the game world ages, so it's possible to build a base that's just outside the meteor range on day 8, but by day 200 your base will get hit. Due to this, it's best to avoid building near areas with meteor scorch marks on the terrain, the most common indicator. You'll most likely find these indicators in the Rocky Land and Mosaic biomes or thereabouts. I'd also like to thank Eliane for reminding me of this one, as I had initially forgotten it when creating this list. And number 1, Nightmare Fissures. This one applies only to cave or ruins bases, but it's definitely one of the more subtle, and I've made the mistake of settling near Nightmare Fissures in the past in the Wilds biome underground down simply because I thought I wanted easy access to lichen and blue ponds for eels. I was very wrong. Having to fight shadow creatures every time the nightmare cycle rolls around is by far the most annoying mob spawn because it's randomized and nightmare creatures will actively hunt any nearby players down. It is also impossible to actively control nightmare creature spawns, so unlike most of the other mobs in this list, which can be deterred using things like fences or walls, nightmare creatures will travel through just about anything and everything to attack the player. But like everything else on this list, you can do it if you really want to, but it's hard to dispute this being one of the absolute worst locations to place a base. So that's my list of the worst places you can locate a base in Don't Starve Together. Although, of course, if you are looking for a bit of a challenge, basing near these could be a really cool objective, but definitely isn't recommended for less experienced players. If there are any world features you think would make a bad base location that I failed to cover in this list, let me know below, or even better, join my Discord group and DM me there. Thank you very much for watching as always, and I hope to see you next time.